and welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. I'll sing our welcome song as you come on in the room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Jesus is my doctor and he writes out all of my prescriptions and he gives me all of my medicine in my room. Come on, you guys in the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And welcome to those of you who don't make it live but you watch the replay. Double, double, double welcome and thank you to those who make the live and then watch the replay also. So this is my Monday Night Lives, these Monday Night Musings, where we talk about all things relationships, love, marriage, dating, communication in marriage or communication in relationship. Uh, hey girl, hey, I missed you. I missed you up in here. Good to see you, Denise. So we talk about dating, marriage, communication, all that good stuff that makes up a good relationship. So we talk about all things relationship. Mostly we talk about intimate relationships, but we also talk about sibling relationship, parenting relationship, all that good stuff. But mostly we focus on intimate relationship with your boo, with your partner, with your man, with your woman, with your boo thing, with your husband and wife, etc. So tonight, we're gonna get started because I'm gonna tell y'all what that whew, I have been with babies, my two grandbabies, 3-year-old and 2-year-old. Had them since Thursday, and the parents came and picked them up today, being Monday. And also have two 17-year-olds, my nephews here. We all went to the beach Sunday or Saturday for a church outing. And so it's just been a lot going on for your introverted minds. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started because we're gonna be 2 hours tonight. I need a little woosah, a little Netflix and chill time. Okay, well, welcome. Thank y'all for being here and for sharing some of your time with me tonight. Hi, Andrea. Sister, glad to see you. Looking forward to. Thank you, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. I know I missed you guys because we didn't. Detroit in the house. Welcome, Detroit. And so we didn't gather last Monday for what 4th of July. I was kind of on the fence about it, and I was. And then I decided, you know what, just a lot going on. So I'm just gonna enjoy this little downtime and this little family time. So listen, you guys. So we're talking about communication tonight because we've talked about that. It's kind of cliche. Oh, thank you, Andrea. I missed you too. I missed you guys so much. And so many times I turned on the camera to talk to y'all, just make a video throughout the week. And I turn on the camera and I start talking and I'm like, ugh, I ain't got nothing to say. Then I'd erase it. Because I missed you guys and I just wanted to come say something and I was like, dude, don't waste your time saying nothing. All I had to say was, hi, y'all. I miss y'all. um, okay, but let's get to the subject, you guys. Because I know sometimes it'd be 10, 15 minutes before I get to the subject. So we're talking about communication, and of course, this is participatory. I want y'all to, chime in. And I know y'all will. I love how, we interact. So y'all do your thing in the comments. And if I don't get to it immediately, I will stroll back. Hi, Sid. Welcome. Um, so we always talking about communication. Communication is key. To me, it's almost like a cliche. It's because, and it's true. It's one of those true cliches, but it's like almost like a cliche. Communication is important in a relationship. But it is. It's very important in a relationship. But a lot of times we just say in general, communication is key. But do we really break it down and talk about the importance of how we communicate? And so that's what I want to do tonight. Just break it down just a little bit, even further than just saying communication is key, but to break it down and then also, to share some ways that I communicate, some ways that me and my husband communicate, some ways that you all communicate, and I'm sure I can glean some ways that you all communicate that will help me because I always tell y'all, I press toward the mark, but I have not apprehended, meaning those who don't do Bible speak. Meaning, I had 17 years of marriage, I yet still am learning. Tony, welcome. Hi there. Let me see who else. Hi, hi, beautiful. Hi, hi, Sarah. Welcome, welcome. Um, so what I was saying was I still have a long ways to go too. Even the 17 years of marriage, I still learn. I'm still learning. I still, hey, you ask my husband, I can even do much better in my communication. And I know you even gotta ask my husband. I'll tell you, I need to do even better in communication. Because sometimes I communicate in a way that is totally antithesis to how you're supposed to communicate, and I know it. I know I'm not communicating correctly. But we get in our feelings, and it's like I don't care. I don't care. So I'm still learning myself. But I like to share what I do know, or what I have learned, or what I have experienced, and like I said, I like to have that participation from you all too. So. First of all, let's talk about why is it, and I'm again looking down at my phone, y'all got my little notes right here. But why is it important for communication? Why is good communication key in a relationship? Why is it important? Because good communication produces increased trust in your relationship. When you feel like you could communicate with your partner could communicate with you, then you feel like there's increased trust. When there's no communication, you're not quite, the trust factor is kind of shaky there. When you don't know what he's thinking, or he doesn't know what you're thinking. You don't know how they're feeling. You don't know if they feel like there's something lacking. Whatever. So first of all, good communication is important because it increases trust in the relationship. Also, it's for better conflict resolution. In life, you're going to always have some situations, you're going to always have some conflict. As long as you have two humans, you're going to always have some conflict, some friction, some misunderstanding, some offense, some you're going to have some stuff when it comes to communication. And good communication kind of helps thwart um, some of that conflict. Like I said, you always have conflict, but good communication helps with conflict resolution. And why else is it important? Ain't it said? He's something else. Always starting something. Gotta be starting something. Got to be starting something. Anyways, good communication also is important because it increases intimacy. Now, this is what good communication is for me. Different intimacy is different for different people. I love to hear you all's thoughts on what is intimacy for you in your relationship, the relationship you have, the relationship you want to have, the relationship you had, the relationship you're looking forward to. What is intimacy to you? So share that with me in the comments. But for me, one of the biggest things intimacy is for me is good communication. I love to communicate. Now it's funny. I like being alone at times, but I love quality time. And so when quality time, during that quality time, I love good communication. So that's what good communication is for me, or that's what intimacy. One of the ways. There's many different ways of intimacy, but what's good intimacy for me is good communication. I mean, to talk about things, pillow talk, laugh about stuff. We just get each other. When we're in public and I give you a look, or you give me a look, or we don't even give each other a look, but then we get in the car and we talk all the way back home. Baby, did you see this, or did you hear this, or did you think this? Or we're just talking about our thoughts, our feelings, our pains, our hurts, our childhood issues, traumas, just all kinds of things. That's intimacy to me. So good communication increases intimacy. Y'all, where Krista at tonight? Anyway, I just thought about her. I just thought about her as I was looking at this. But I miss her in here. So hope she's all right. I'm gonna see what y'all talking about, just in case I missed her coming in. Uh, I'm trying to concentrate. Quit making me googly. Aaron, something else I wrote. Aaron, you show something about. Yeah, you're right. So, absolutely, good communication is a springboard for any time of intimacy, friendship, romantic. Yep. Some preachers say intimacy was intimacy. Yes, vulnerability both ways. Intimacy is finding out each other's vulnerabilities and protecting them. I love that. Oh my goodness, Aaron, I love that. And protecting them. I don't know if I've ever even heard that before. Finding out each other's vulnerabilities and protecting them. I love it. Intimacy is Aaron is messing with me. That's exactly. Yes. Oh my goodness. I absolutely. Ladies, don't we love that? He says, and protecting those vulnerabilities. I love that. And I think sometimes it's instinctually as women we do that. I think a lot of women do that where we know our husbands or our partners' vulnerabilities and we protect those vulnerabilities. Um, yes, the safe haven is the uber important. Yes, safe haven is uber important. Yes. I like the ooh. You got me thinking that, Aaron. Yes, I like that, and as I'm thinking, I think as women, like I say, many of us, I can't say all of us, many of us though, I think we instinctually do that because I'm thinking as with my husband, it's like I know his vulnerabilities, and I'm always instinctually protecting them, and I think we do it so automatically that I never even thought of it as it's a thing. But that is a thing. Wow. Love that. Good point. And good add, Tommy. Yes. So for me, intimacy is communication. There are many different forms of intimacy, but yeah, good communication. And another reason that good communication is key in a relationship is how important it is to feel understood. To me, maybe that's not something that everybody wishes to have, but to me, there's nothing like being understood, and being like you feel me. That's the vernacular we use. We say he feels me, he gets me, she gets me. And so that's why I believe that communication is so key in a relationship because it shows the other person that I get you. I get you. And not only do I get you, but I also cover you. And like I said, it's probably, when you talk about covering those vulnerabilities. So those I haven't even gotten to uh, the keys. Those are just the reasons why communication is key. And there's so many different reasons, but I just wanted to kind of narrow it down to those. So I'm going to start with my first key is that they value you. Yes. And with protection and communication, how many times has your boo had to restate something you've already said? Oh, hold on. Let me see. You've already said to make your point more clear. And with protection, yes. And with protection and communication, how many times has your boo had to restate something you've already said to make your point more clear? Good point. Good question, Tommy. Good point. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, and anybody welcome to chime in on that. So I say first of all, you got to know that in order to have good communication, you got to know that it's essential. Good communication is essential in a relationship, and the reason I say this is because, say, sometimes when you got to take a test, a test is coming up, or you have to pass this exam, and they tell you this is going to be an essential. Your teacher or your professor or whatever say this is going to be very important. This is essential. This is essential for you to know. You better know that this is where you need to write down on your notes. When you're taking notes, you better write that down because your teacher is telling you that this is an essential part of the test that you're going to need to know. You best believe it's going to be on the exam. And I use that analogy to say that communication is essential. And if you know it's essential, that means this is something that you need to make sure. Yes, signpost. Yes, a signpost. Exactly this. You went to school way more later than I did. I don't forgot the name of those things, but yes, that's a signpost. So communication being essential is a signpost for you to say, you know what? Let me work on my communication now. Not when I get a relationship, or even if I'm in a relationship, I can still improve in my communication. I know 17 years in, I still can improve on my communication. And therefore, it is always my endeavor, to communicate better, and I'll talk about this further down, but to use a communication style that my husband can receive. So number one is just knowing that communication is essential. It's a signpost. It's essential. Number two, um, not the same that your communication in a relationship is not the same as your communication with everyone else. And I think sometimes we make that mistake in relationship where we want to communicate with our spouse the same way we communicate in other relationships. And that is a grave error. You can't communicate with your spouse the same way you communicate with your children. And you should not be communicating with your children, whether they are little children, teenage children, or grown children. You can't be communicating with your children the same way you communicate with your spouse. You don't communicate with your girlfriends the same way you communicate with your spouse or your partner in your relationship. So let me keep using the wrong using that big old finger. Let me on this side say listen to what the person is saying and not interrupting while they're telling you something. Exactly, Andrea, and I got that down there too. The common language outside the home and inside is oh yes. I love the way you all can sum up. And Tommy and Aaron just have a knack for knowing how to sum up so succinctly exactly what I'm trying to say. I love it, but I love it that you get it. So even though what I'm saying might not be so succinct, you know how to just make it so succinct, and you get what I said. Communication, you get me. That's important. You want somebody to get you, and you get me. So yes, I love that. Because communication, like Tommy so eloquently said, and so dead on spot on said, communication outside the house is not the same as communication inside the house. Communication with your girlfriends is not the same as communication. Not even this. Yes, not Denise says not even the same as your ex-husband. Yes. Aaron says, I agree. My ex-wife used to talk to me like she spoke to her girlfriend, and she would be upset when I engaged husband hearing. Aaron's so funny with those different words. Husband hearing. Yes, there is a husband hearing. We get you. Thanks, Tommy. It must be an individual communication. Yes, Denise, it must be an individual communication. You don't communicate with your spouse or your partner, your intimate partner, the same way you communicate with your family or your mom or your. And sometimes it may seem obvious, like that might seem like an obvious point, but sometimes no, it's not so obvious, because sometimes the same things you're telling your BFFs or your parents or your cousin them or all, sometimes the things that you should be talking to only your intimate partner. And some things and the way you might handle things in at work, I'm the boss. At work, I'm one of the bosses. So the way I might talk to say one of my subordinates is different than how when I come home and the way I may talk to my husband. So we have to know that communication styles and communication temperature and tone and all that is different depending on who you're dealing with, and especially in your relationship. Tommy say, "Don't, girl. Let me tell you about my day." Exactly. So I've been guilty. A couple of times. That pillow talk, that conversation been so good. I'm like, "Girl, oop, oh, sorry, baby." But yes, no. Yeah. So you just have to know I won't go on and on about that point, but you all get it that you have to know that your communication style with your spouse or your partner, your boo, is different, and it should be different, and um, and the things you share should be different. What you share with your intimate partner should not be things that you share with any and everybody. This should be special. There's special communication. Even though, hey, you my girl, you my BFF, you my lunch partner, whatever. Our conversation over here is different from the intimate communication that I have with my partner. Husband here, hey, I thought it was at least every fifth word. Aaron, is every 15th word? Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, my husband he has my husband hearing sometime. But guys, I thought it was at least every fifth word, every 15th. Um, number number three, uh, the importance of the good communication in a relationship. You got to know your partner's communication style. Intentional, personalized communication. Yes, intentional, personalized communication. Exactly. Personalized. And that's the point I'm coming to right now. Number three is knowing your partner's communication style. We have different communication styles. And and maybe there are many, but I know of the four. And I even, looked them up just to confirm what I knew and what I remember about the communication style. But as things evolve, sometimes it could be 20 now. But the four that I was always been aware of for years is there's the aggressive, passive aggressive, and assertive. And we're not going to go over all of them. We'll just briefly hit passive. You basically don't know how to say no, and you kind of let anything go. You kind of people pleaser, and just real. We know what passive is, right? And then aggressive is somebody who's just defensive. Always going to set somebody straight. Always gonna just sometimes loud, sometimes obnoxious. That's your aggressive. Going to get their point across no matter what. That's the aggressive. And then you got the passive aggressive. I act like I'm, easygoing um, and that I really can't say no, but I'm really aggressive. I'm going to little undertones of aggressiveness. I'm going to be sarcastic. I'm going to, kind of a little manipulative or whatever. I got little undertones of um, other alternatives, other ulterior motives in what I'm saying. But I'm saying it in a real passive way. That's that passive aggressive. And then you have assertive. You basically just say what you mean what you say, and you have no problem saying what you're saying, but you're not trying to be aggressive about it. Yeah, that's that old shady, that old shady passive aggressive. And then those are the four. And then you might have a primary way of communication, a primary communication style, and then you might have a little bit of all of these, depending on your situation and who you're around and who you're with and who you're communicating with. So my communication style, or at least I think so. Sometimes we can think we are a certain way and other people see us a different way, but my communication style is assertive. However, excuse me, y'all. However, I do have some passive aggressive in me. That's my second. I got a little passive aggressiveness in me because I'm like, oh, I'm easygoing and I go with the flow and but I'm gonna have a little undertone of sarcasm in there. And then also it depends. Sometimes I have a little passiveness in me. So like I said, my primary is assertive. But I'm have a little, sometimes I just kind of let it go, depending on who it is or what I'm doing or what environment. I'm just gonna let it go, not say anything. But yeah, assertive. Okay. And yes, y'all, share with me. Thanks, Aaron, for sharing it. Share with me what you would say your communication style is. I'm assertive, but I got a little passive aggressive in me, and then sometimes I could be a little too passive. I think so, but my primary is assertive. Um, but you have to know what your partner communication style is, and because it's important because you're not going to change them. You know, you might want to change them. Denise, thank you, Denise. Assertive. Yeah, Denise is my sister, so I definitely know she's assertive. Denise, do you think you have any secondary or any mixture of any of the others? Like I said, I know I'm primary assertive, but I do have that passive aggressive. That's that little sarcasm. Sometimes I'm not, I might want to say things to Charles in our relationship, or I might want to make a comment about something, but I don't assertively make the comment. I'll say a little passive aggressive, and I'll give you an example. Like, say for instance, one time he asked me to say get up and get him something. Just say if he said, "Sweetheart, you give me a glass of water." This has happened now, but I don't remember exactly what he asked me to get. But he said, "Sweetheart, can you give me a glass of water?" And I say, "So you want me to get up and walk past you, who's closer to the fridge, and get you some water?" And so that's the passive aggressive. I'm all passive and nice and kind, but I'm just making sure that you want me to get up and walk past you, who's further from the fridge, and get you a glass of water. So I told you I have not arrived, but that's that passive aggressive. See, I said to be assertive, but with love. Let me see. Denise says assertive, old school, is nice and nasty on the inside. Nasty on the side. I missed two. My phone dropped in the shower. Oh my goodness. Please repeat. You're not too much trouble. Okay, no. No. That's funny, Denise. Excuse me. So I think you heard number one was it's essential to know that communication is key, and then number two, oh, hold on. Let me plug in my. Hold on. My phone telling me it's low power. Y'all, okay, we plugged in. Y'all still there? Everybody still there? There's somebody let me know if you're still there. Okay, so Denise, okay, I'm sorry. The four keys to communication. One is passive, the other is aggressive, and the other is passive aggressive, and the other is assertive. So you have your passive, kind of easy going, go with the flow, can't say no, anything goes. Aggressive, passive aggressive, and assertive. And so Denise, I don't know if you were saying you missed some of the keys, but we're talking about you have to, number one, know that communication is essential. Learning good communication is essential. Number two, that communication is not the same with everybody. Your intimate partner, communication is different than at work, your friends, etc. And then number three is knowing knowing your communication style, but also knowing your partner's communication style. Okay. Yeah. I think it's a mistake for a man to be aggressive with a lady. Definitely in a relationship, Aaron, I feel it's a big mistake for a man to be aggressive. I just think both for a man or a woman to be aggressive, have an aggressive communication style, because you shut that person down. A lot of times when we say men don't talk, ladies, when we say men don't talk, my man doesn't talk, a lot of times they have shut down because either past hurts, somebody being aggressive with them or being judgmental with them, or etc. And oh, you said 99.5. Yeah, Denise. Okay, I can believe I can go. Hi, Susan. Welcome. Welcome. Oh my goodness, I've never seen you in the live. I don't know. I don't think. But welcome. But we just talk about relationship. We always talk about love, marriage, dating, etc. And tonight we're talking about communication. The keys to communication and a good relationship. But welcome. Thank you for joining us. Hi, my friend. So we were talking about communication styles and knowing your partner's communication style and knowing yours. And some of those, four of those styles that we talked about was passive aggressive, and assertive. And for the most part, I'm an assertive communicator, but I do have undertones of passive aggressiveness, more so with my spouse. With most people, I'm just assertive, but with Charles, I have a passive aggressive. I get it. That point five, with husband hearing the considered as aggressive. Yes, Aaron, the husband hearing is passive aggressive because you're being very passive by not really, listening, paying attention, but you're making a very aggressive communication. You're communicating to your spouse in a very aggressive manner by not paying attention. So what you're saying is wonk, 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 and I'm not listening. That's very aggressive, but a passive way of letting her know. So yeah, so you have somewhat of a passive aggressive style too, when you're half listening, when you, like you say, husband hearing. So yeah, so I am an assertive, but I have a passive aggressive undertones. And why it's important though is, in order to communicate effectively with your spouse or your partner, you have to know what kind of style they have too. Because my husband has Charles is like, as he is with most things, he's either one end of the spectrum or the other. For him, there is no middle ground or gray area, with Charles. So he is a passive communicator, but he can be very aggressive also. So he has no passive aggressiveness because he's not gonna say one thing and kind of like he doesn't have like undertones of sarcasm and all of that. He's a passive communicator, but then he can go to the other end of just being aggressive, and not with me. He's never been an aggressive communicator with me, but I have seen it, and it's like, oh my god, did he just say that? Did he just do that? So I know with him, when he says certain things, he's saying it in a passive manner, but I know what he means. And that's why I say it's important to know your partner's communication style. Because sometimes if you're like oil and water, with me being an assertive communicator, Charles is not an assertive communicator. And sometimes we're like oil and water when it comes to that. And so sometimes it's very irritating. And I know he can say the very same thing. It's probably very irritating to him that I'm always asserting my thoughts. And sometimes it's very irritating to me that he does not assert his thoughts. He's real passive with it. And so I will give you an example. Like, he will say something like, baby, do you know if we have any milk for cereal? Okay, now that sounds like a common question, right? That sounds like a man question, because they ask you things like that. But I know my husband and I know his communication style. He doesn't mean, am I Susan? Oh my goodness. So Charles doesn't mean literally, do we have milk for cereal? What he means is, baby, will you get up and go fix me a bowl of cereal? Because I tell you, if anybody goes in the fridge 10 times more than I do, it's him. You tell me, do we have milk for cereal? But he communicates in a very passive way like that. Wherein I was communicating in a certain way. Baby, will you fix me a bowl of cereal? He says, or he'll say, say for instance, he needs some, maybe he needs some socks, for church. He'll say, baby, do you know if I have any clean socks? What he means is, I looked in the drawer and I didn't see any clean socks. So could you wash me some? So that's the way he communicates. And if I let it, it will irritate me. It will frustrate me to no end. But I try not to allow it to do so, because I know what kind of communicator he is. So that's why it's important to know what your partner's communication style is, so you know how to adjust, how to work with it. Because no need to try to come into the relationship to change them. No need to try to change them. Hey, they're like, I've been communicating for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years without you. I know how to communicate. You don't have to come in and try to teach me how to communicate. So they're not going to change. What you do is you learn how your partner communicates and you respond accordingly. So sometimes when I'm in my passive aggressive manner, and Charles will say, baby, do you know if we have any milk for cereal? I passively aggressively answer, I don't know. And I leave it at that. That means I don't feel like making you no cereal. But and then I get up and do it because I'm like, I know what he's asking. I know what he's asking. No, if he asks me to do anything he asks me to do, I get up and do it. But it irritates me sometimes when he communicates in that passive manner. So then I become a little passive aggressive. Learning from Charles, I'm gonna ask my next wife, babe, what does NBA court side seat look like? Oh my goodness. And then she's gonna say, I don't know. But anyways, yes, but you want to know how your partner communicates. And like I said, and adjust accordingly. And I've adjusted, like I said, sometimes I get in my little passive aggressive attitude, but for the most part, Charles and I would not have good communication if I did not understand his communication style. And because I know his communication style, I understand his communication style, and I just go with his communication style. Like I said, unless it's just those, moments of me trying to be, sometimes, when it irritates me, and I'm just like, communicate assertively. Oh my goodness. So it's important to know your partner's communication style, and also to know your own communication style. Another one, number 4, when you're good communication, avoid insults. Avoid insults and insulting each other. Because I don't care how much you say, I'm sorry. I don't care how much you forgive each other. You should say you're sorry, or they should say you're sorry. You should forgive, move on. But those words can hurt and resonate. And you don't know what kind of childhood trauma you just touched on. You don't know what kind of memories you just evoked from those insults. And you don't know what kind of damage you've done to your partner or to their spirit. So we should always avoid insults. Yeah, insults are for the immature. Definitely, definitely, Aaron. And a lot of times those insults are not about the person you're directing it to. A lot of times those insults are really about how you're feeling and how you're feeling about yourself. And those of you who've been here long enough with me know the saying that I say, that your slip is showing. So a lot of times when you're insulting your partner, it's not about them. It's your slip is showing, because it's about how you're feeling on the inside. And unless we're insulting, of course, Aaron, of course, we're insulting people together. Not in their faces, but behind their backs. Oh, but yeah, seriously though, no, you don't want to hurl insults at each other, or any kind of painful exchange of communication, and especially when you know that is a sore spot. And I think one of the worst things that you can do in communication and in your relationship is to specifically use a sore spot, or vulnerability against your partner. I don't care how much you say, I am sorry, and really, really, really be contrite about it. And no matter how much your partner say, I forgive you, and really, really honestly forgive, you don't, that feeling just doesn't go away. That this is what you thought of me, or this is what you used against me. And ladies, nobody can do this like us. Most guys, they don't even remember. They don't even remember they don't even remember for the most part how to use certain vulnerabilities against us because they don't remember sometimes the things that we share. They don't remember what, our hot buttons are. They don't remember, for the most part they don't. But women, they say elephants have good memories. Women, we don't forget. We don't forget. I might remember what you told me 30 years ago. Yes. Yes, kindness, even in the middle of being upset. Yes. Used to call me Petty Murphy. Oh my goodness. No. No. Yes, we have to, when, like Susan said, kindness in the middle of being upset. There have been times, sometimes I think even sometimes people might even think that like me and my husband, like, do you ever argue? You ever argue, or do you ever get mad at each other? Well, we rarely argue. We probably argue maybe 5 times in our 17-year of marriage. But we do get frustrated with each other or mad at each other, for something, and then it lasts a few minutes. But even in the middle of that, showing kindness, I can be done piss my husband off, and my husband is still going to be kind. Or I could be just like, oh, so frustrated with him, or just, for lack of a better term, pissed at him, and still, going to show kindness. Still, I can't remember. Dang, what were we? What were we? We had words. We exchanged words the other night, and then I came back. I closed the bedroom door. I didn't slam it, but we had words, and he was getting into bed, and I closed the door, and then I went and made him some Theraflu because he wasn't feeling, and came back and said, "Here, you need to take this." It was kind of hilarious to me because I was, like I said, I can't remember. If I think of it, I'll tell you all because it's nothing major. But it was like I was frustrated or something, and I closed the door, and then I went and made some Theraflu, and I came back and I was like, "You need to take this Theraflu." He just got up and took it and drank it and handed me the cup back, and I closed the door. So I just, even in the middle of being frustrated or upset with each other, you still want to always still communicate kindness. And ladies, we know we can do that passive aggressive thing of being silent. That's not a good thing too. Being silent. You might need a moment. You might need a moment. But after you have your moment to kind of think about things, regroup, don't hold silence against your partner. Number 5, communication. Time and place is everything. Time, place, temperature, tone. We're going to say all of that is number 5. Time and place. Around your family, around the kids. OMG, that's the biggest thing. Around the kids is not the time nor place to express your arguments or your dissatisfaction with each other, or even grown adult topics. Maybe not even argue. Might not be an argument or anything, but just certain grown adult topics. And I find it disheartening that quite often parents would discuss certain things in front of their children that are not children business. And I know these days we're a lot looser with what's adult business that we talk around our kids. I do understand that because back in the day, like our parents, you couldn't sit in front of adults and hear adult conversation. So I do know that that children are around adults and parents and hear a lot more than what we used to. But still, there's still certain adult conversations that children should not be a part of, or adult decisions that children should not be a part of. And so we have to know that there's a time and place, temperature and tone for everything when it comes to communication. Uh, not saying certain things or airing out certain problems in front of family or friends, etc. Yes, time and place. Yes, then those children talk like adults, and it's not always appropriate. While some think it's cute. Exactly. Amen. About the adult conversation, especially back in the day. Yes, it is. Back in we could not. We could not look at adult faces while they were talking. Looking like this while adults were talking. Uh, you better not sit in the presence of adults and look in their face while they're talking, looking back and forth like a tennis match. Go outside and play somewhere. But I do know that, things are not like they were back in the day, but still, you have to know that intimate conversation and adult conversation is not to be aired around children. You got to make a decision about something, even if you got to go to your child later. Even if you say you're making a decision about the child and you got to go to the don't even act like you listening. I know that's right, Denise. But there are certain conversations that should not be had in front of children, or even your friends or things like that. And it just sometimes, I'm sure you could think back. I'm sure each of you could think of a situation where you kind of looked and you were kind of appalled at the things you've heard people say to each other in relationships, in front of others. And you're like, did she just? Hi, Krista. I was asking about you. I was hoping that you were all right. Uh, Thank you for showing up. I was hoping that you were all right. I was gonna send Aaron to check on you or something. Send somebody to check on you. But yes, but communication. There's a time and a place and a tone and a temperature for everything. And I said, check the temperature of the room. I mean, check the temperature before you broach certain subjects, or before you want to talk about something that's specific or whatever. Take the temperature and check the temperature. See, is this the right time to talk? Is this wrong time? Too soon? And there have been times that I've talked to my husband or wanted to talk to my husband, and I said, Holy Spirit said, hold off, wait, don't. And I said, I got to say this, and said something, and I'm like, wrong time, Deidre. There was nothing wrong with you saying it, but wrong time. And Holy Spirit told you wrong time, but no, you just had to say it. So time and place for everything, and check the temperature. What made you think it was okay to talk about this in front of me? Sometimes it's like, what did I do to let them think that it was okay? Exactly, Tommy. I was on the phone with my sister. Oh, okay. Tell your sister that you come on in the room. Tell her don't be holding up my Krista. Tell her come on in the room. You say, girl, I got to go meet me in the blessed place. I'm just kidding. But yeah, time and temperature for everything, and I've definitely been guilty of either saying the wrong thing or saying the right thing at the wrong time. Um, but like I said, I try my best to live and I learn. Mm, Number six, active listening. Active listening. This is We're on to the next point of good, effective communication in a relationship and how to upgrade your relationship with good communication. And one is active listening, and I think that's kind of a lost art these days of active listening. And guilty at times, because there have been times that I'm talking to my husband, and I got this right here in my hand while I'm talking to him, and this teacher put your phone down, and then I put my phone down and actually engage. So if it does not come naturally to you, let your mind remind yourself to put that phone down, or the TV. Turn that TV volume off, or turn the TV off, or whatever it is that's distracting you. Um, you got to give some undivided attention. Now there are some times we know that you're multitasking. Maybe we're talking while I'm cooking dinner, or maybe we're talking while you're at work, you work from home. Maybe you took a few minutes break to talk to me or whatever. We know there are different situations. You got babies, children, grandchildren, whatever. We know that there are different situations where you can't always give your undivided attention, but there are times where you're gonna need to give your undivided attention. And in that active listening, body language is everything. Body language, being open, to that person. If the person is here, you're not here, or you're not there, but you're open to that person, and that you're engaged. Eye contact. Your phone, you've put it away, or your book, or whatever. you put it away. But and actively listening and not just butting in. That's another thing that I have been working on over time and over the years is not to just interrupt my husband because my husband, the way, I mean, I love that. I love when we talk. And like I said, I love pillow talk. We call it pillow talk. And I love, just catching up on his day, catching up on my day, talking about stuff. I really enjoy. It's like the best part of my day. Best part of any day is just catching up with my husband and talking about things. But the way my husband tells stories, it's like I'm I'm a beginning, middle, and end type of storyteller. I like details, and I like the details from the moment I woke up and set foot on the ground and went to the bathroom and brushed my teeth and did this until I laid my head down at night. I just like details, and I like order, and I like structure. My brain can't wrap around the story when you start in the middle. And so, but my husband, when he tells stories, is he'll say, "Yeah, baby," and I'm like, wait, who is he? So you got to start me from the beginning. But I try. I've been trying my best to. Okay, Deidre, let it go, let it flow, let him tell his story. So you have to be. That's active listening. I'm not actively listening. Is if I'm busy trying to stop him at every point to ask him something or tell him to tell the story to me the way I need to for you to tell me the story. So actively listening is just being open, being listening into what they're saying without trying to think of what you're going to say next, or without trying to interrupt, or without trying to correct. So I'm still working on my active listening skills. But that's very important in communication, is actively listening. Let me see what y'all saying in here in the comments. See, Aaron said he's an active listening. Listen, sometimes I struggle with active listening. Sometimes in aspects of building my rebuttals. Sometimes in an effort to prove you're listening, you're thinking of the next question. Exactly, Tommy. I don't want them look you in your eyes type of people when you talk. That's good. That's good, Krista. Multitasking has risen to today's time. Yep, we don't practice that active listening anymore. Exactly, Tommy. Hi, Krista. Glad to see you. Keep down, Aaron. You listening to me? Yes. So, Tommy, to your point, active listening, like I said, I think it's such a lost art these days, because it's like if you're not multitasking as far as listening in your phone and doing all that, then it's not it's like it's not kosher. But we need to learn to put away some of these things, especially in intimate relationships. Now it's different if you're just talking to a friend or a coworker or acquaintance, etc. But in a relationship, it is very vitally important to actively listen, to take it in, to not multitask, to make that person feel heard, make them feel listened to, make them feel that you are. It's just you and them. Nothing else matters. The cell phone doesn't matter. The computer doesn't matter. The kids don't matter. It's just me and you. Baby, how was your day? How are you doing? How are you feeling? What did you think about that? How did you feel about that? Or just kind of jiving off of, what they said. But I get you. I get what you mean, Tommy, when you're saying that, in an effort of in the effort of making them feel like I hear you, I'm listening to you. Now I'm thinking of what's my next question or my next move in this conversation. Aaron is so crazy. How old did you get? How did you get kicked out? Is it okay? Is it okay to set dedicated active listening time, or should it be more natural? Is it okay to set dedicated active listening time, or should it be more natural? I think I'm good with my girlfriends with this, but not my man. Susan, are you saying you're not good at the active listening with your man? So Tommy, and anybody can answer this. Tommy said, "Is it okay to set dedicated active listening time, or should it be more natural?" Tommy, my opinion on that is kind of a hybrid. I like more natural active listening time, but I think there could be a hybrid of making sure that there's a dedicated time also. So like, and I kind of do that hybrid. Because like what I do is say, for instance, my husband, when he gets in at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. I want to give him that dedicated active listening time. And so I make sure that there's an appointed time, or there's a certain amount of time I'm gonna make sure that I am actively listening to him in that. And then there are other times where it's just more natural. And I don't know if that answered the intention of what you were asking, or if anybody else want to chime in. Oh, okay, Susan. Well, hey, girl, we're always striving. We're always striving to do better. And like I said, I've been married 17 years, and I have not arrived. I have not. I like to share what I know and what I've learned and what I've experienced, but I tell nobody that I've arrived and I know all these things. So I'm still learning, and especially in this day and age of social media and all of that, um, I find that I definitely can improve in my active listening, and that's where I always strive to be a communicator and a better active listener when it comes. Could y'all hear that? I was wondering. It's a great reminder. Could you all hear? My husband just called, and I just clicked it off. But could you hear my ringtone? Could you hear him calling me? I always wonder that. Like, can you all hear that? Um, but anyway, I'm at my last one, and then we could just talk in the comments. Oh, okay, it just paused. Oh, okay, okay. So that was my husband calling me then when it paused like that. So he probably forgot. So honestly, let's see. It says, Erin says, honestly, I like the hybrid too. Active listening times that come naturally, but she has 5 minutes before, she has 5 minutes before taper off. Erin is crazy. But you make some good points. Even though you have me laughing, Aaron, but you make some excellent points. I'm a good listener, and I enjoy talking. Yeah, I could tell. I don't know. I could tell Crystal's a great listener. Probably because you have such a great memory. To me, though, people with good memories, I feel like you're great listeners. I have a horrible memory, and I'm probably not sometimes a great listener, but I try to be. Yes, sometimes when you ask for the dedicated time, it seems forced, but for a recovering multitasker, it can be intentional. Yes. Okay. Yes, Tommy. And even Aaron was agreeing, and he likes the hybrid also. Natural. I think you should be. There should be a rule when you talking, no distractions, meaning phone, tablets, laptops around. That's my take. Good point. Good point. I didn't hear, but there was a pause. Okay. Thanks, Denise. So yes, I think the hybrid, is good. I think the hybrid is good. Dedicated a dedicated amount of time at a certain time, and then some just natural. Um, and my last one, and then we can just talk about some other stuff in the comments. Oh, thank you, Sid. I appreciate it. I try my best to be. I try my best to be a good listener, and what I find is that I used to cut people off a lot, and I would hear it myself, and then I said, "Dude, you got to stop cutting people off." But then I started realizing I was cutting people off because this is what I realized. I tried my best to stop cutting people off, and for the most part, I did. Sometimes I slip back into those old habits, but I stopped cutting people off, and then when I would, when they would stop talking, and I would get to my point, I couldn't remember my point. I cannot remember. So when I don't cut people off, and I'm waiting, and I'm actively listening, I can't remember what I was going to say, and I realized that's why I was cutting people off, because I can't remember what I was gonna say. But so then I said, well, Deidre, there's a conundrum. Do you cut people off so that you can get your point across before you forget, or do you make it a point to be a better listener and not cut people off? And what I decided was, this is what I decided, and I don't know, maybe this might help somebody or resonate with somebody. What I decided is, it's more important to me to be a better listener and not cut people off than to get my point across. And if I've forgotten my point, it's either A, it's going to come back around if it's for me to say, or B, it wasn't as important for me to say than I thought it was. And I don't need to say it, because what's more important to me is to be a better listener. So that's one thing that I just kind of came up with for myself. So, people tell me that all the time, that I cut them off. For me, it was unintentionally, but I'm afraid I'm going to lose my thought. Exactly, Tommy. See, I said it before you even said it. Yes, exactly. Actively waiting and forgot my words. Exactly. I kind of cut people off, but only to ask, how long is this story? You know what, Aaron, me and you, we couldn't communicate. You see, because sometimes my stories, because first I gotta preface, and then I gotta do a forward, and then I gotta say what it is I'm gonna say. Then I gotta get to a point. So we couldn't communicate, because you'd be telling me, how long is this story? And I'm like, I'm only on the preface. I haven't even gotten to the story yet. My therapist asked me, what is the root? Do you feel you weren't heard as a child? Oh, good question from your therapist. Oh, thank you, Denise. Thank you. Yes, I surely did. I don't know, if that would help Tommy, but that's truly what I said. I said, dang, I cannot remember my point whenever I stop cutting people off. But I decided for myself that it's better, I want to be a better listener. And so if whatever I had to say I can't remember, then just either, hey, so be it. I don't have to always share my thoughts, as I'm sure my husband would agree. I know, Aaron is cracking you up, right? He's something else. Tommy, I am, well, it's not for everybody, if you don't feel like want to share that, but I was just wondering, did your therapist hit on something when he says, do you feel that you weren't heard as a child? Good question. I don't know if you want to share, but that's good. So I am always enjoying people telling me how they are feeling inside. I be saying, girl, I hope you're not being nosy. I love to hear people's story too, Krista, and how they thinking and how they're feeling. See, feel free to go through your preface and intro. Husband hearing is beautiful. But you know what, Aaron? But when I was talking earlier about knowing your spouse's or your partner's communication style, you also have to know their listening style, which is part of communication. So I know with Charles, he is not a long listener. So I know what bits and pieces and how I have to cut my story down. So if I was talking to Denise, my sister Denise in here, we love details. She and I both are the same. Walk me through from when you woke up and put your foot on the ground to when you got in bed that night, and walk me through every detail. I want to know just not only that, you put on your belt, but what color was your belt? And on which belt loop did you close your belt? So it's like so Denise and I are very much the same, is it like that? Yes, Denise says, I need details. But with Charles, he don't even want to know when you got up and put your feet on the ground. All he want to know is, okay, so you showered, you made it to work, you had a good day, you came home. That's it. So you have to know your partner's communication style. You have to also know their listening style, because you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be frustrated trying to give all the details when they don't want to hear the details, or you're going to be frustrated wanting to hear the details and they don't want to provide all the details. Like 17 years, I've had to come to the conclusion that, Deidre, you are not going to get all the details from your husband. You're just not. He loves to talk. Oh my God, does he love to talk. He's an extrovert, but you're not going to get all the details. Don't frustrate him, because what I found is that I would frustrate Charles and he would talk a little less. And I would be like, wait a minute now, he's not talking as much as he normally does. And I realized I was frustrating with him. I was frustrating him needing the details. Yes, Denise said Charles hates details. He would look at you like, why you still talking about that? Yes, he hates the details. He hates sharing the details. And what I had to realize, and see, this is the thing. Oh my God, this is getting good. This is getting good. Because what I had to realize was, this is what I'm talking about, very important about good communication in your relationship. You can't just make it to be about what you want and how you would like it. Because if it was the way I wanted and how I liked it, our communication will be very different. We'll have a very different look. We enjoy each other, we talk and we laugh, and but Charles is not as in the details. And when I need details, I used to would just badger him for the details. He's trying to tell me a story, and I'm like, wait. Well, what? I'll ask him a question, or wait. So what it, or wait. And what I'm trying to remember, he just told me, he was just telling me that he was talking to our pastor. He was just telling me that he was talking to our pastor. He said, I told the pastor, and that Deidre, she just feed into that mess. And I said, wait, what did you tell him? He said, I told him you just feed into the mess. I said, well, what exactly did you tell him? And now he's like getting frustrated. Like, because that's not what exactly he told the pastor. He told the pastor more detail, but he didn't feel like relaying the details to me. So I'm just saying I had to learn his his method of communication so that I wouldn't frustrate him, so that we can keep a good communication. So we keep good communication going because I don't feed him the details and I know I'm not going to get the details from him. So you get what you get and you work within the confines of what you get. And that's why it's important. And a lot of times, you kind of wonder what's going on with your communication in your relationship. You're saying, I'm a good communicator, she's a good communicator. Why he's a good communicator, whatever. Why are we missing out on some things in our communication? Why do I not feel fulfilled in my communication? Why I don't feel fulfilled in what we have here when it comes to communication. And it's because a lot of times we're looking for that person to communicate and say, I like this couple, this is fill my cup. We're looking for that person to fill my cup when they're not the ones who are going to fully fill your cup. Maybe your relationship is only going to get your cup halfway. You might got to go to your girlfriends. So Charles will fill my cup to a certain level. I have to get the details. Denise has to fill my cup when it comes to the details. So you have to know what you're dealing with, what you're working with, what their communication style is, what their listening style is, what your style is, and not force that person to be your end all and be all of what the communication that you need. So let me see what y'all talking about. Excuse me while I read through what y'all are saying in this. So Andrea said the husband here and got to go. Denise said no, he don't like them details. Yeah, Denise said she needs to love details too. I got time. Exactly, Krista. I got time. Exactly, Denise. Why that belt? Exactly. Which belt loop did you put it on? What color was the belt? Where did you buy the belt? Oh yes, and my therapist has been a blessing. I was a smart, curious child who felt invalidated by the lack of seriousness adults took with my viewpoint. Oh, awesome. I just needed the headlines, not the fine lines. Details help paint the picture. Exactly, Tommy. Oh, a man who knows details. But if I'm not interested, give me bullets. Oh, if you're not interested, just give you the bullets. Denise said, Charles hate details. He will look at you like, why are you still talking about that? Exactly. Thomas said, value everyone's communication style type is a better experience in a relationship. Got to have a balance. Exactly. You got to value, instead of being frustrated by your partner's communication style, learn to value it and work within that style. And don't look for your partner, like I said, to be your end all and be all when it comes to communication. Communication is intimacy to me. I get that intimacy. Oops, hold on. Have I? Okay, I might have. I might have accidentally paused y'all. All these pop ups and stuff coming up, but your intimate partner can be your end all and be all. Even though intimacy is very important to me, and it's communication is very important to me, and it's a very important intimacy to me. But if I would be very very frustrated if I depended on my husband to, so to speak, fill my cup when it comes to communication, because he does not like the details. He don't want to hear them, and he ain't gonna give them. I just need the headlines, not the fine lines. Okay. I'm still strolling. It says valuing everyone's communication style. Yep. I like that. Bottom line is, men only say about a fourth of the words a lady would say. So we don't like to listen to more than 100 words. I can agree with most of that, Aaron. But I am very detailed in everything in my life. Though, even though I decorate my home, is very deep. Even how you decorate your home. Yeah, we explain things, everything. Yeah, and sometimes we over explain things. I know I do. I know I over explain things. Um, with this communication, it's like a good album. Some people like the hits, only know the hook, while others love side B and liner notes. Oh, excellent, excellent, excellent analogy. I used to tell my ex, Jesus is still listening. Talk to Oh my goodness, Aaron. See, your ex might have needed some. She might feel like her cup wasn't getting filled when it comes to communication. That might have been a problem. She might not have known that, girl, you can't wait on Aaron to fill your communication cup. You gotta take whatever he gives you, and then you gotta get your cup filled from somewhere else, but not from not another man. It says, I dated a guy when he would share stories with me. I would ask 1,000 questions, and he hated this and would say, "You giving me a headache, Denise." This would frustrate me and also hurt my feelings. I didn't understand back then, but now I understand. Yes, Denise. So should you have another relationship that's like that? I don't know if you say, nope, I will never have another relationship like that. Hold on. So Brother Aaron is on it tonight. He has me laughing out loud for real. I know. Isn't he telling me he is on it tonight? But Denise, but I'm glad you say you understand that now. Is that it's important, like I say, to understand someone's communication style and their listening style, because their listening style is part of their communication style. But I just kind of make that distinction that we'll know that it's important to know not only their communication style but their listening style. And I know with Charles, his listening style and communication style is like totally different from mine. And sometimes we just look at whether a person is an extrovert or introvert. So like with Charles, he's an extrovert. I mean, like on the other end of the spectrum extrovert. And I'm an introvert, but kind of middle spectrum introvert, where I'm a social introvert. But it's not just, but our communication style is not just about being an extrovert or introvert, but it's also about passive aggressive, being assertive, etc. But it's also about, it's so much when it comes to communication, but it's also about like their listening style. So someone who does not want details, and you're a detailed person, like I said, you're gonna be like oil and water and be frustrated, with each other. But it's just knowing their style and working within that. I would be so frustrated with Charles and his communication style if I didn't just make a decision and say, you know what, it is what it is. This is the communication style. Go with it, Deidre. Go with the flow. Don't stop your man from wanting to communicate with you and talk to you because you are getting frustrated that you don't have the details. Just go with what he's got. Ask one or two questions, but don't. And as a matter of fact, I've learned to stop framing it as questions, more so comments. So I even learned how to reframe some of my feedback. So instead of asking, Denise, and this is for you, anybody else who's like me, who feel like you need details and you're frustrated by somebody who does not offer details, I stopped even framing it as questions, but started framing it as like kind of like feedback, or I'll say little comments, about it, like, no, so you told him that, and then I might get more information, or no, he said that, or no, or I frame it in like a different way that he'll give me a more feedback rather than just asking questions. So, let's see what this. Let's see. I don't know what to look. It's I would know what to look for. This your question to us. Is like you receive flowers. It's not a deal breaker, but he got overcompensated somewhere else. Yes. So, anyways, let me see. I think I got. I think. Let me look. I think that was. Oh, I didn't get to my last one. Okay, my last one after the active listening was talk about what's really bothering you. So in our communication with each other, a lot of times we tiptoe around the tulip. We tiptoe around what's really going on with us, what's really bothering us, and we will cause all kind of communication havoc by not being assertive with what's going on, or what it is that we really want to talk about, or the issue that really is at hand. So we'll tiptoe around all of that and kind of cause communication havoc because we're not being truthful and honest with our thoughts and our feelings. And that's something I still work with and deal with too, is I'm an assertive communicator, but sometimes, like I say, I can be a little passive also when it comes to my feelings and sharing my feelings. So that's something that's very important in communication, is talk about what the situation really is. Um, talk about what the situation really is, because sometimes you can damage your relationship further. So you think you don't want to communicate, you don't feel comfortable, or you don't want to communicate about a certain thing, but but then you're misdirecting your communication in a different way that could be more damaging to your relationship. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. Usually Tommy can sum it up real good for me. But when you are trying not to say certain things, or you're shielding your feelings, or you're not trying not to share your feelings, sometimes you can, like I say, redirect your frustrations or your feelings in another way that's even more damaging. So I hope that makes sense, but I'm saying Tommy might express it a little bit more succinctly for me. But those questions, turn comments can sometimes seem passive aggressive, shady too. But it's all about intention. Yeah, exactly. Those questions, turn comments. Yeah, exactly. What? Oh, what's at the root? Yes, what's really going on? Exactly. What's at the root? But I'm a good listener. Saint keeps booting her. Krista. Slave food. And she leaves her car running. Yeah, you are a good listener and you remember everything. Yeah, because you summed it up right there. Sometimes I hold a lot in because there are times I feel people in my life do not have time for my thoughts, but me and my sister will talk for hours. Yeah, Aaron. Yes, Aaron with the receipts. See, he act like he's half listening, but he listens and remembers. uh, okay, so you guys, that's all I have for us tonight. When it comes to, I just want to talk a little bit more about communication, because communication is so vitally important. Good communication, effective communication, so vitally important for good relationships. But we always say that, we always hear that, but seldom do we actually delve into communication. And communication is so vast. There's so much more. I mean, to go into. There's so many different directions that we could go when it comes to communication. So that was just a lot to summarize in one video. But hopefully, something I said resonates with someone, will help someone in their relationship. Um, but of everything I said, what are the main things I want you to remember when it comes to effective communication in your relationship is knowing your communication style, knowing your partner's communication style, and knowing how to work within that. And not trying to change their style. Because, like I said, if I could, I would have changed my husband's communication style many, many years ago. If I could change it right now, I would. But I've learned to work within it and so that we can enjoy good communication with each other. And I don't frustrate him, and he doesn't frustrate me. Uh, so thank you, Susan. Thank you for being here. I welcome you. We're here each Monday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about all things love, marriage, relationships, self-esteem, all of that good stuff. And of course, it's all under, they know in the blessed place, hey, it's all Jesus Christ, him crucified and him being glorified. All right, let's see. Uh, Active listening. And I'm gonna find out what you ate. What you ate the night before you came online. Let me tell you, you can't eat no dinner before you come online. Effective communication. My granny passed a few weeks ago, so I've been a little. Oh, but it was good being in the blessed place tonight. Oh, thank you, Tom, and I'm so sorry to hear about your grandma. So sorry for that. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming back, and you and your family in my prayers concerning your grandma. I know she is resting in a better place and keeping her grandbaby in prayer. I am learning a lot from our Monday Blessed Place. I'm almost ready for relationship in 30-30. In 30-30, Crystal. Just send me that invitation. I'll bring my walker and my teeth right on with. Do you still want to come on my podcast? Oh, we are doing a show on how men can be a master romantic. Oh, okay. All right. Aaron, I would be glad to be on your podcast. I'm just my memory thing. I think I just forgot. But thank you, Tommy, for being here. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Krista. But thank you, Aaron. I was listening to your podcast the other day. Was it 2 days ago? I was listening to the one where you started out talking about Father's Day and why fathers aren't honored as much as mothers and all of that. And I was just listening to you and the other two guys and listening to your perspectives. And it was a good show. It was a good show, but I couldn't figure out. I think I was listening to it. Was I listening to it? I think on YouTube. I can't remember where I was listening to it. Whatever link you gave me, but I was like, I want to find it on. Are you all on? Like, can I go to any podcast? Like, can I go to a podcast? Like what I use, iHeartRadio or other podcasting, or is it only through YouTube? That's what I couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure out if it was only through YouTube. Okay. On just on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, alrighty. Okay, alrighty. I think I don't know if I think I might have. I think I did send a friend request. I think I did. Not a friend request, but like. I think I liked it on Facebook. If not, I'll go back. Anyway, so you guys check out Aaron's Facebook and his Facebook and YouTube, The Man Cave. He put it right here in the comments. The Man Cave. Y'all check him out. And one day I'll be a ghost. A ghost. A guest. I'll be a guest. Yep, I'll bring my walker and my teeth. All right, you guys. I appreciate you guys. I always say this. Time is precious. Time you cannot get back. And I appreciate when you give me hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours of that precious time. It is priceless. Much appreciated. Again, I invite you, those who are not over there, I invite you to come on over and see me at SoSoBlessed1 on Instagram. All right, you guys. I love y'all. Oh, no problem, Krista. Just invite your sister. Tell her come on over in the blessed place. Say, girl, I see you over in the blessed place. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Oh, thank you, Aaron. Love you too. Okay, yes, said call me. Cause girl, I'm Denise. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Yeah, Sid, I'm terrible at remembering to call people. My sister tell you, I'm terrible at remembering to call people. So you call me. All right. Okay, you guys. I'm just letting everybody say their good nights. I love this community, and I love how y'all just how y'all building friendships in the blessed place. All right, you guys. I think everybody's done. I love y'all. Y'all be blessed.